guys, it is kitchen talk time with Granna. It's time to come on up in the kitchen. I'm excited today. I am back on my one-on-one conversations. I hope you guys ready for it. So we're gonna get ready and hop into it. I have with me today in my conversation in the kitchen. It's gonna be Stanley Douglas. Welcome, Stanley.
All right, nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have you in the kitchen with me today, and we're just basically gonna just talk about whatever pops in Granna head. I'm gonna put it out there to you. Is that okay?
That'll work.
Okay. Well, before we get started, go ahead and tell my people just a little bit about Stanley.
Okay. So my dad was in the military, so I was originally born in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Okay.
Probably only lived there for like a year. Moved to Alaska. That's when my younger sister was born, and then we moved to Georgia. That's my youngest brother. The last of us was born. Family of 5. My family is originally from Memphis, Tennessee. That's when my older brother and sister were born. My parents were born and raised, went to school their whole life. We kind of traveled around, and how it ended up in Georgia again, he retired at Fort Gordon in 2008. They decided to go back to Memphis, and I decided to stay here. I really like Georgia, so I've been here since 2006 when we initially moved here. They left in 2008, and I ended up staying. So here we are, 2022.
Okay. So you have got to travel a little bit. Do you remember any of those different places? When you said Alaska, that's one of my to-do lists. It's on my list. Haven't made it there yet. So do you remember any of those places as you was traveling?
Yes. Only one I don't remember is Colorado because I moved so young. I remember Alaska, probably like the latter years of it. We have some home videos and stuff. So, but everything after that, I definitely remember. So I definitely remember Georgia. We lived in Panama, and we lived there for 3 years. And then where I actually moved from Georgia was Italy, and I lived in Italy for 4 years. Went to 8th grade and then most of high school there.
Oh, wow.
So I actually moved back to the States my 12th grade year.
Okay. So you got a lot of different cultural things in your younger life, and got to experience a lot of different cultural things.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm also a part of a military retiree. So I love the traveling part of it. Is that something you just definitely was not for you, the military?
Yeah, so
it's not for everybody. It is not for everybody.
Right. So when we got here, when we got to Georgia, my dad, he'd been stressing about retiring for a while at that point, because he had been in Afghanistan, been in Iraq.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot. So he asked me what I wanted to do. He asked me if I wanted to go to the military or if I wanted to go to college. And then at the time, I really did want to go to college. So I actually started school as soon as I graduated, going for electrical engineering. And kind of just, stuck around and did that instead of going to the military. But my older brother and younger sister did go to the military, though.
Okay. Well, it's not for everybody. Believe me, you got to be ready and mentally ready to do that. So there's nothing wrong with that. So when you got out of college, is that when you decided, because I also know that you do some acting, is that when you decided to get into the acting field?
Right. So the funny thing about how that came about, so I was going to school. I ended up kind of stopping for a while. And how I ended up here, one of my friends from Augusta, she moved up here. She started working at this place called Endeavor at the time. That's actually how I met Tavares. So I met Tavares there, and as time went on, we started getting cooler and stuff, and that's kind of when I started to learn about what some of the things he does outside of the job that we had together. And he presented me with an opportunity to come out and do a scene.
Let me ask you this. You say Tavares. Now, I know who Tavares is. But tell the people just a little bit about, I know you say you met him where you work at and stuff, but you also do a lot of your acting with him.
Correct.
So just give us just a little tip about Tavares, because people be like, who is Tavares?
So Tavares, when we came there, we were in different departments, but then we ended up working together in management as time went on. He became management first, and he ended up becoming the the operations manager.
Okay.
They moved me up to team lead, eventually supervisor. So that's kind of really when I started working closely with him.
Okay.
And then he asked me actually, have I acted before, and I kind of told him that in high school I did like play work and
Yeah.
stuff like that, but nothing really serious.
Yeah.
He wanted me to come out for a scene, so I came out, did the scene, remembered the lines. Everybody liked what I did and wanted me to come back and do another scene. So I came back and did another scene, and then after that, it was more and more scenes.
Right.
Eventually, leading into a movie, which I was really nervous about. I was like, all right, this is, even though the show it's all acting, but the movie it was a little bit more in depth. With having to sell the stuff. So I was like, I really have to get into this.
Right.
And then also did like some music video work and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's how I got into acting, and just really bouncing, watching everybody else how they act, and kind of picking up pieces from there, and just trying to make myself better at doing that.
Okay. Now, was that something that you wanted to do? Was that on your to-do list, or you was like coming to Atlanta area to get into just being acting, or this is just something that kind of fell into your lap and you was like, well, let me try it. Let me jump
Yeah,
on it.
definitely something that fell into my lap. And one thing about me, I'm willing to try almost anything. Like if somebody presents something to me, I mean, I'll try it. I mean, if I don't end up liking it or being good at it, then I just don't. But
Right.
I'm definitely willing to try pretty much anything.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's how you learn. That's how you grow.
Absolutely.
You grow from trying different things and stuff like
Absolutely.
that. So is that something that you will be continually to do?
Yeah, like it's something that not necessarily pursuing it as hard. But I like I said, any opportunity, if somebody present, hey, I need somebody for this, I'll absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even second guess it. All right, I'm there. Just tell me what it is.
Okay. So, what type of advice would you be able to give someone if that's a field that they wanted to get into? Because entertainment field is hard.
Right.
It's very hard to get. Everybody's not as fortunate or lucky as you are to get a role that's dropped into your lap. There's people that's out there that's been out there for years trying to get that first little break. And it's very difficult. And most time they just give up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what type of advice would you give them?
I would say networking is one of the biggest things. You have to network with people, and you have to keep those foundations and those bridges strong. Because a lot of the time when people mess up with trying to pursue anything, is they burn bridges, they don't keep in contact with people, they don't put themselves out there, and in a sense, you have to kind of make yourself vulnerable. Like you have to understand that you have to put yourself in a position where you might not be in the best light all the time. You might fail. You might not look as favorable as you would think or you would like. But you have to try. You have to put yourself out there and do that. And as time goes on, you're going to get better because you're going to get more practice at it. And again, with the networking thing, you never know what opportunities can come from networking. So always try to keep people in keep people close by, build those foundations with them in their relationship, and just do right by people. And eventually, as you meet more and more people and you do more and more networking, that's when you start meeting people, and they might be a little bit higher up. They might have their own studios. They might, and they're like, oh, hey, I actually like doing this. You mind giving me a chance?
Absolutely. Like I say, it's basically like that old saying: you treat people the way you want to be treated.
Absolutely.
You treat people with respect,
Mm-hmm.
and burning bridges, you're gonna end up hurting yourself.
Absolutely.
When you get so high, you can't not look back down at the people that's coming up, because you never know. You go so high, you can come down just as fast as you went up.
Mm-hmm.
So it can definitely it can hurt you in ways if you don't treat people right. It can definitely hurt you. Then sometimes it works out for people. But if you're always treating people with respect, then it's gonna come back. It'll come back to you. You gotta treat people with respect. And networking, that's the way to go.
Absolutely.
And these days, you got so many forms of networking. You got the social media, people all on social media, and they'll see the post about this and the post about that. So there's a lot of stuff going on social media.
Absolutely.
All this kind of stuff. So
got to make yourself visible and vulnerable, because when you make yourself visible, you are ultimately opening yourself up to more people.
Yeah.
But if you're not afraid to do that, then that's how you get more exposure.
That's true. That's true. Like you say, you gotta, you got to put yourself out there.
Absolutely.
You can't be fearful. You gotta be vulnerable. And with so much that's going on in the world, you just gotta get out that box. You gotta come up out that box because people put themselves in a box and they just stay there.
And I'll be honest, that was me at a certain point in time. I used to be very introverted, so I didn't. So I'm speaking from experience.
Really? Because just talking to you, you don't seem like you.
Yeah.
you don't seem that way.
That's that's something that's probably came up over the last few years. So funny thing, my older brother, he was definitely the more extroverted person, and I was more introverted.
Mm-hmm.
He actually passed away in 2019.
Oh, wow, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh no, I appreciate that. And honestly, me taking from that, I feel like I kind of taken a lot of the good attributes from him, and one of those things was being more open, being more extroverted and fearless. He was this guy feared nothing.
You took that from him.
I did it almost overnight. It was it's kind of weird, but I just found myself falling into taking on challenges, and I taught myself how to swim. It was a bunch of stuff that just kind of happened just out of that situation, so it kind of just turned a negative into a positive.
Yeah, and it's kind of like he just went in. Part of him became a part of you, even though you was his brother. A part of him became a part of you.
Absolutely.
Because until that point, you was in this little box.
Right.
And wow, that's amazing. That's crazy. Right after his his going to rest in peace, then that was just a part of him becoming a part of you.
Absolutely. And I appreciate it. Obviously I would still rather him be here in his physical, but his spiritual is very much with me. Right. And I'm gonna carry that. He has his daughter still. She's about to graduate in a couple of months. So we kind of really kept a close eye on her, and kind of stepped in and make sure that she knew that she still had family here, even though her dad wasn't here anymore. So.
Well, that's what he's here because he became a part of you.
Absolutely.
And that's why it happened the way it happened. And then they say everything happens for a reason. No one wants to lose a loved one.
Absolutely.
That is the worst.
Absolutely.
But you learn from that, you grow from that, and he left you with a part of him because you was in this box before then.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Yeah, he took some of what I would consider some of the worst parts of me and gave me some of the best parts of him. So it made me better as a person overall. So,
wow.
I appreciate it.
Well, that's amazing. Well, thank you, Stanley, for hanging out with me in the kitchen today. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
And anything that he said that may help you guys, take some of his advice. But we're about to get up out the kitchen. You guys have a great day. Don't forget to go back, share my video, hit that subscribe button, and just be kind to everybody you come in contact with, okay? We're going to check you guys out next time around.